Greetings and welcome back to the Evolution of Confidence. I am here with my husband, Stephen Albertine Esquire, and I am currently sweating with empanada remnants in my teeth. So if you aren't watching this on video, you should be, to see this beautiful face that stands before me.
I don't know about that, but
Well, let's not be shy now that the cameras are on. Come on. You know you're like the Brad Pitt of South Florida.
No.
Anyway, so Stephen, I have a few questions to ask you. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Let's do it.
Okay. Number one, what are your thoughts on the current real estate market? And for background, Stephen is a title attorney. He owns a title company called Landmark Title in South Florida in Deerfield Beach. So he can speak on the subject. And most of his clients are realtors, so you're seeing it firsthand.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
I think the real estate market is, it's clearly a buyer's market in the sense that during the COVID years we had a feeding frenzy, which pushed up, for various reasons, which pushed up values. And you experienced this. There would be if you had a listing, there would be a line around the corner for a place and people would be bidding over asking price. That's not happening anymore. So at least, that kind of situation has been relieved, but we're still seeing higher values, like 2x maybe of what it was pre-COVID. I think that's pretty much just the new norm, and I don't see a reason why it's gonna go back to normal. There's low inventory and people want to live here, and weather's nice. You all can't see it, but it's nice out.
Gorgeous view.
Your legs are gorgeous.
Your legs, they're gorgeous.
Have you ever told people that story?
No, you should tell them.
Really?
Yeah. Why not? No, it'll be fun. Tell them. Tell them about my legs. I want them to know.
We were at the mall. You were getting shoes, right?
I was at Steve Madden or something like that.
Yeah, some store. I don't know.
Traffic. I think it was Traffic.
Whatever that is, yeah.
For Lauderdale.
So we're at the mall. She's getting shoes, and this older lady sits down next to us and goes, "Oh my God, your legs, they're gorgeous." And she goes, How did you get your legs like that? And Mari's just like, I don't know, I just like exercise and eat, right? And the lady just goes, no.
Couldn't be true.
She didn't want to hear it. She wanted an answer like, I don't know, I was born this way, so she could be like, yes, you're right. But anyway, that was the story. So now
I shellac my legs every night.
So now it's a
running
joke. Well, that's sort of true.
It's a running joke, literally.
Yeah, that whenever something's like looks good or whatever, we say your legs, they're gorgeous. But anyway,
I love that joke.
So the real estate market is it's things are kind of slow as far as the number of transactions. For people who are in the industry, that's what we care about. But for people who are buying and selling, sellers are getting a lot for what they have, and buyers, unfortunately, you're not going to get the prices that you saw pre-COVID. But again, I don't see that changing for the better for buyers. I don't see how that's going to happen.
Here's the thing, though. You see it like a month later because you're seeing the closings.
Yeah,
or you see things when they come under contract. I'm seeing this month that it is like insanely busy all of a sudden. Like my phone is ringing off the hook. A lot for commercial deals. So it's a lot of the seasoned investors who either have syndicated funds or they have 1031 exchanges that they're all of a sudden doing. Mm-hmm. I'm getting calls on that hotel like every day, nonstop, the restaurant nonstop. But I will say the house across the street in, I think it was 2021. I put that up for 1.2 on the MLS. It was gone for 1.3 that day. The one down the street, smaller than this house, went for 1.8. Didn't even put it on the MLS yet. Didn't have time to.
Right, but that was a different market back then. That was a couple of years ago. That's what
I know, I'm
trying to
just
say.
saying, yeah, I'm just adding to your point.
Right.
But I think typically this is when we see the market slow down, like
Yeah,
right after
summer,
April.
yeah.
But I'm seeing it pick up right now, which is a weird thing that I've never really seen in the cycle.
Yeah, I think the cycles also have been like thrown off. Like, yeah, typically there would be like a lull in the beginning of the year because no one's really doing anything, and then it would pick up like March, April, maybe into May, and then it would be a lull for the summer, and then it would start to pick up again towards the end of the year because people want to get deals done before the end of the year. But things have, since COVID, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why, or maybe there is a reason and I just don't know it, but things are all out of whack. Like things are, I think like last summer it was a good summer, and usually summers there's nothing.
Yeah, usually summer is like
Yeah.
we're in the freezing cold.
But I mean, yeah, I see, I don't have a title company that's doing 1,000 deals a month, right? And so I'm not seeing a large cross section of what's happening in South Florida, just as like, you're not seeing the larger, bigger picture. But from what I've seen and what people, like what I've seen in the data and what people who analyze the data are saying, it's relatively low transactions.
Yeah, and even in the luxury market, there are people who are concerned about the interest rates and they're like holding off. And I think a lot of people are just kind of like seeing what's going to happen. But buyers are getting more word that sellers are more flexible, even though there was like a huge amount of properties listed from the beginning of January to now. I think buyers are like, okay, this is the time to negotiate before interest rates go down again.
Yeah, I mean,
it's projected from the Federal Reserve to go down in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if you can believe them, but and it is an election year, and you would think, although the president can't force rates to go down, they could probably put pressure on the Reserve to lower rates right before the election and make things look better than they are for the economy, or whatnot. But I think the other issue, which you kind of touched on with the lag, is sellers have got it in their head, because it's been happening for the last couple of years, that their house is worth more than it is. And there's a time period between when that value matches what the buyers are willing to pay and when they come together, and there's that lag period of that adjusting. And I feel like we're in that period. I mean, would you say that's true? We're like kind of still in that period of adjustment where sellers need to come back down to earth. Buyers need to realize you're not getting pre-COVID pricing.
I think that's the issue that I face, is like people are basing the comps off of COVID years and COVID numbers, which was like so inflated. And it was such a frenzy too, like because of the interest rates being so low, it was a frenzy, and it was a multiple offer situation where we're totally not in that market anymore. No, you're right. Yeah. So it's gotta something has to give. And even though South Florida is an anomaly and we have higher prices than most places in the US, and we have higher traffic than most places in the US, it's still the mindset that everyone has of, okay, this is not the right time to buy because they're waiting for the egg to drop or whatever. I don't think that's the term.
That's definitely not the term.
Waiting for the shoe to drop. Yeah.
No one wants the egg to drop.
No one wants the egg to drop, because if the egg drops and it fries on the side of the...
It's not that hot outside. We're not like Arizona.
In your car, I have freckles on the top of my head from driving your car.
Stop.
I do.
You've been driving here for 3 days.
I found them. I was roasting like an egg.
Right. Tell Elon that. Elon.
Yeah, Elon.
If you hear this.
We need a shield.
Yeah, I think they make one too.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, too late now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, on to the next question. Do you think masterminds and conventions for real estate are BS or legitimately helpful?
I don't even know what that
Like
means.
like a Tony Robbins kind of mastermind, or but like real estate focused, or just in general those masterminds where it's like sometimes I get asked to do those speeches and I'll turn them down because I'm like,
I think you already know the answer to this, or what my opinion is of this. I think everybody who has an insight into things they just don't. The data shows whatever the data shows. Sure, you can interpret things differently, but at the end of the day, nobody has a crystal ball, and are you talking about like people who like have tips and tricks on like how to like?
no, like people who literally have like conventions where like one person is gathering together thousands of people to like fly out to Vegas to like be like, and you can do it.
Oh yeah, I think, well, that's clearly just snake oil salesman.
But that's not clear to everyone because a lot of people do that nowadays, and a lot of people
Yeah.
invest in that thinking that that's going to bring their career to the next level, because a lot of people have gotten into that field and they've gotten good at selling people on it.
Right. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who are desperate and feel like there's some kind of, going back to my other point, they feel like there's some trick or insider knowledge that they are just missing. And if they just get
I've been
then
there.
they'll be on their way.
I've been there.
And that's just not true. I mean, you save your money and buy a real estate for dummies book or something. Like, I don't even know if that exists.
Or autonomous agent, you could do that.
Right. Something that's not super expensive, because I mean the information is not complicated, and you don't need to spend thousands of dollars and fly out to a conference to have somebody blow smoke up your behind.
Especially to hang out with a bunch of other people in the same field. Like, those aren't the people you want to be like rubbing elbows with.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Well, I mean, those people aren't even, if what we're talking about is like those self-help things. Those people they're in the same boat as you, right?
Right.
The person who's going, you're meeting other people who know nothing and who are desperate, and
and there are times in your life, like, you're not like a desperate person all the time. Like, there have been times in my life where I've invested in coaching and stuff like that, but it's always been when I'm in a desperate state of like things are slow, or like my social media is not doing great. Let me like reach out to this person who knows about it, or like, you've seen me so many times invest in trying to get somebody to manage my social media and stuff like that, and I've wasted thousands of dollars because it's like out of a desperation to fix something that you can only fix.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's like resources that are important, because if you know nothing about a subject, you got to learn it somehow.
Right.
But I just feel like there are cheaper ways to do it than these like snake oil salesmen who charge $5,000 to go to their seminar. It's just,
I think it's like,
I don't think it's real.
The way that I see it is like a lot of the messaging from people who host those masterminds and speeches and whatever, they're like, oh, college is a scam, college is useless, blah, blah, blah. And you agree with that.
That might be sort
But
of
that's
true
like
nowadays.
the new college. Like, that's the new way to learn for a lot of people, where they're like, it's almost like learning a trade, like something really specific that they're paying money to learn, but you're still going to pay a shitload of money to do that.
Look, I mean, you got the internet and YouTube, which is the internet. You can learn a lot just by taking the time to research things on your own. Frankly, in law school, I think the first thing they told you when they teach you legal research, they say Google it first.
Every time I walk into Steven's office, he's on that Google. Just kidding.
But I mean, that's where I start, because sometimes you get, a lot of times you get nothing, but it's free, so you might as well try it. And sometimes you go in a direction that you didn't even think, right? And then you use other resources that you are tailored for what you're looking for. But to get back to the point, I mean, if you don't know anything about a subject like real estate, there's a lot of stuff you can learn online. You know, a lot of stuff that you put out that's free, you know, more or less, or fairly cheap. You know, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars to somebody and spend a lot of time, by the way. Those seminars take up like a lot of your time. A whole
That
weekend
for me
or a
is the
week
biggest thing. It's like you could be closing deals while you're learning about closing deals, or you could be meeting people to close deals with. And like you say to me, a lot of the times when I'm overwhelmed and I'm in that kind of desperation state, you're like, just sit down and do the work. Like, you thinking that like, oh, how am I gonna find these YouTube videos or whatever? Like, they're gonna come to you. There's an algorithm that if you start looking that stuff up, it'll just come to you, and that'll become the content that you consume. But you have to sit down and like organize your thoughts and say, what do I want to achieve? Start doing it, and do it every single day. Do it consistently. Get a to-do list, like you say.
Yeah, I like lists.
You do like a list, and a list helps you. I did a to-do list today, so I didn't forget to get my mom a Mother's Day gift.
There you go.
It worked. Okay, what are your thoughts on the NAR lawsuit?
That's interesting. I think it's going to clearly change things. I think it's not going to be as drastic as people are saying. I do think it's going to bring down realtors' commissions. I mean, that's quite obvious. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, people still want to use realtors. I mean, we talked about this the other day. The real issue is the MLS. The MLS has a stranglehold over the information, the listings. And I know that there's Zillow, and everyone keeps telling me this and all that, but you know this better than most people. People send you a Zillow lead or a listing, and it's already been sold, or like the information is just not up to date. It's not as good.
Up to date. Sometimes, like, if you don't pay for Zillow leads, they will literally like sabotage your listing so that you have to end up paying for them to have a support person. Like, I would list a house here, and they would put that the location was like 3 blocks down, and they don't give you a phone number. You don't have any access to fix it unless you're a paying customer of theirs.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a private company, you know, so they're gonna do shady things like everyone else. But yeah, but I mean, I think that's the real like problem with the industry. Not problem, but it's the real thing that if that changed, where the MLS was like any other website that you could go to, then it would be a game changer. I think what this lawsuit did will change things for realtors in a little bit of a way, but yeah, I think for the average like buyer and seller, people still are going to use realtors. I mean, like, do you really want to deal with people calling you all the time if you're listing your house, or if you're a buyer? Do you really want to like set up showings and then negotiate contracts and then deal with the title company? No, you're not going to do it. No one's going to do that. They're going to use professionals. There's a reason why the industry started and why it's still here. You know, it's an important purchase in most people's lives, probably the biggest investment they'll ever make for most people. So, you know, they want to trust a professional. It's like, you know, if you have a clog in your toilet, are you going to call a plumber, or are you going to try and fix it? If you have the knowledge to fix it, sure, you're going to fix it. But if you don't, or you're not comfortable, you're going to get a professional to do it, because it's important. You need to poop.
So many people have told me, like, if they've bought a for sale by owner, they're like, that was my biggest regret, was not having somebody at least help me with the contract and like read it and protect me from certain things. Because you can be unprotected, especially if you're selling a house and somebody's trying to wholesale it. Like, you don't see those little things, and then you end up with a wholesale situation where they're making money on your home that you don't even make.
Sure. You know, hire a lawyer. I'm not the type of lawyer that thinks that lawyers need to be involved in every transaction, but you know, in real estate, they do add some value, you know, and like I said, it's, for a lot of people, it's the biggest investment you're going to make in your entire life. You might as well spend a few $100 to at least have a guy look over something for you, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, people are always trying to pinch pennies here and there, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me to to not spend a little bit of money to have some peace of mind.
I don't know if you can discuss this, but the fact that when you're buying a home as a buyer or as a seller, let's say, because in Florida it's usually this way, if the buyer is choosing the title company and they're being represented by that attorney, you as the seller can utilize your own attorney to represent you instead of going with the attorney who's doing the closing.
Yeah, so in Florida, we have it's different than other states. Well, I mean, I know New Jersey and New York because I'm also licensed there, but I don't practice. But I just know how they operate. But in Florida, we kind of have like a Wild West mentality of the way that we deal with real estate for various reasons, but mainly because it's our like number one economic driver. So we do a lot of things that expedite real estate transactions, and what we have down here is title companies that either don't have lawyers on staff or aren't owned by lawyers, and it's legal and you can do that. And some of them are good, a lot of them aren't. But basically what you're asking is if a buyer, if in the contract it says the buyer's picking the title company and they pick a title company, whether it's owned by a lawyer or not, doesn't really matter. The seller always has the choice to allow that title company to work on their side of things, or they could hire their own attorney to represent them. I always think it's a good idea to do it that way. I mean, it doesn't cost that much more than what the title company would charge you. So I think it's worth it. But, some people don't really care. And, in a lot of situations, it doesn't really matter. But, the other point to make is the title company, whether it's a lawyer or not, in most situations is a neutral third party. So, so they don't represent the buyer either in a legal capacity.
Right.
So, that's why if it's a law firm that's doing the real estate deal as the closing agent, they can work with both sides. They still do like conflict letters and whatnot, but we have a situation down here where I think you gotta kind of be careful about who you're picking as your closing agent, escrow agent, all that kind of stuff.
Things get sticky. You're like, give me my money back, and then all the money is with one person, and you don't have anybody to support you.
Oh, and you didn't ask this, but this is coming up a lot lately because a lot of deals seem to be canceling.
That's good.
Yeah, escrow deposits. If you're a buyer and you want your deposit back, most of the time, title companies aren't just going to give you the deposit back just because you asked for it and you think you deserve it.
That's a huge point because a lot of people think that that's how it's going to go.
No, you have to, first of all, work within the contract to make sure that you're canceling within certain time periods so that there is no question, then they will give it back without question. But if you're not canceling like within a contingency period, you're basically saying, okay, title company or escrow agent, you become judge and jury and decide to give it back to me and then take on the liability and get sued by the different parties. Nobody's gonna do that. So, you gotta be, especially if like these are realtors out there listening to this, you gotta be careful about where you are in the transaction and extend time periods if you have to, or cancel deals if things aren't looking like they're not going to work out, right?
Yeah.
You can't just like hope and pray that it's going to work and then let a time period pass and then now your client's lost their deposit potentially because you didn't want to rock the boat. Well, that's we see that a lot.
I'm sure with a lot of people getting their license recently, you see that more.
Yeah, well,
I see that with a lot of new agents where they don't know to
they don't even know what they're doing.
alert the client of the whole transaction and like when
Right.
things expire.
Like, for example, if you have, in most of our contracts down here have an inspection period, right? It's an as is with the right to inspect. And during the inspection period, you can cancel for any reason. And let's say you're on the last day of the inspection period and maybe the inspection went well, but like something happened and financing you think is going to fall through. You have a few options. You can either cancel the contract, get the seller to agree to extend that period, or you can move forward and close and try and close. And that's it. Those are the only options. I mean, you can get a little creative with extensions and stuff like that, but those are the three basic options. And a lot of realtors, like, they'll let that time period expire and then their client's in a bad spot now because, you know, they potentially can't close or they definitely can't close. And then you get them calling the title company saying, or the escrow agent, if it's a different company, saying, hey, I want to get out of this deal. Where's my deposit? Oh, it's stuck here now.
For eternity sometimes.
You had to do something to make sure that you get that money back. You know, that's your responsibility, or your realtor should have helped you do that, right? So those kind of things are fairly common nowadays, and it's kind of frustrating to see because people are getting, you know, led into bad situations. And again, I'm a neutral third party, so I'm not like advising people.
Yeah, it's not like
right?
It's your client that.
No, if I ever
like
represent buyers and the realtor, you know, that's involved is, you know, saying, oh, you know, we don't want to rock the boat. I always tell them, like, no, these are the three options. You pick one, right? And that's that.
And that's that, cat in the hat.
Yep.
Okay, 2 more questions, and we're gonna go get the stinkies. Which leads me to, what is it like? Okay, give 3 tips. Okay, this is what I was gonna ask. So there's a lot of rhetoric around like dual income households and women paying 50% of the household bills and all of that. But what we don't talk a lot about is how dads feel being a 50% parent, because you're a very hands-on dad and you work full-time, like a 9-to-5 schedule. So what are 3 tips that you would give a dad in your position who takes on so much of the childcare and working full-time?
Tips?
Not tips, but
I'm not like
what is
dad.
it like? Like, what is it like for you?
It's hard. No, I don't know. It is what it is. It's what you got to do. I don't think of it in like a way where I'd be like, I'm just generally not the kind of person who's like, you should do it this way. You know, like, I'm not going to make a YouTube video about like how to be a parent. Like, I don't.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, how do you feel? Because it's not the traditional way. It's not trad.
Yeah, that's true. You've been very trad recently.
That's my next question. How do you like me being more trad lately? No, I'm not more trad. I'm just doing trad things.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. Like, you know, you made cookies the other day. I benefit from this. This is nice.
I did.
Yeah, I mean, I guess those are kind of like one and the same question. I don't know. It's, however it works out, it works out. I feel like, especially if you have like multiple kids, you just gotta like get through the day.
Gotta grin and bear it.
However it happens, you know, it is what it is. It's, the kids are gonna do what they're gonna do. The kids are gonna kid.
Kids are always gonna kid.
And it's a divide and conquer sometimes. Sometimes it's one person and the other one is out of commission, you know? It's the way it goes.
And I appreciate you helping so much with the kids. I don't want to say helping. I appreciate you doing your part so much with the kids.
Yeah, and I don't really mind it that much, although sometimes it becomes, you know, it's like, can I just get a minute to myself? I was telling my brother the other day, I was going to the bathroom, and I had both kids in the guest bathroom, so it was the small bathroom, I had both kids in there
Good times.
and Ricky, our dog. And like Ricky's trying to like find space to like sit, and she's like trying to lean on me, and then Landon's like, daddy, 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 and then the baby's like trying to rip toilet paper off the thing. And I'm like, guys, can I just go number 2?
The prince is definitely in that mode of like, mommy, look at me, mommy, look at what I'm doing, mommy, look at this. But it's like, I also think, I stop myself and I'll be like, okay, he's not gonna wanna show me his Minecraft creations forever. So I have to be excited about this because it's so cute.
Yeah.
It's objectively cute.
Yeah.
But it's like in the moment when you're exhausted from work and you're just like, I need to be tapped out right now and I want to watch Vanderpump Rules. Like, Vanderpump Rules will always be there, but like our kids at this age will not, you know?
Yeah.
Won't be this age forever.
This is true.
He made me this.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that is really nice, actually.
Isn't that cute?
That's cool.
He was so excited about it. It says, made with love.
Oh.
And it's my favorite colors. And I said, oh, those are my favorite colors. He said, yeah, I know. He knew it.
You know, he makes bracelets all day.
Yeah.
That's another inside joke. But yeah, so, and
you know I eat all day.
Yeah. And so my brother has older kids. That's why I was talking to him about it. And he said that same thing. He was like, yeah, you know, it's, you're going to look back on it and, you know. But it doesn't help you in the situation. I mean,
in the moment.
That's what
we can talk about it like that now.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you're like,
right.
For the love of God,
yeah.
Can I have a minute to myself?
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and I can't wait to see them.
It's my favorite saying, by the way. I probably said it 5 times already. Is what it is.
It is. 'Tis what it is. I'm gonna start saying. I made this my New Year's resolution.
What?
Instead of like being combative and being like, I gotta prove my point. I'm just gonna say, fair enough. Fair enough. Like if somebody's like mean to me or rude, I'm just gonna say, fair enough. Or especially with a deal, like if someone's like, I'll just go, fair enough. But I haven't done it yet, and it's the middle of the year.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Fair enough. On that note, say goodbye to Buddha.
You can't show everyone this one. Look at that.
Oh. Before we go, we want to cordially invite you to our open house, a joined open house on March 15th. It's 4710 Northeast 27th Avenue. I think that is the right street. Let me just make sure. 4710. This is what happens when you have mom brain, as they say. Yes. 4710 Northeast 27th Ave in Coral Ridge Country Club. Asking $1.65 million or $1.69 million, the same exact price that this house is. So we'll show you a tiny tour to end this amazing episode. Thank you, Steven, for being with us today. It was great.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you, Carl. So good to see you. Okay. And Steven brought me empanadas, so he gets many points for that. You gotta feed your wife. Look how beautiful. 2,200 square feet, hurricane impact windows and doors, plantation shutters. Now, I'm not even kidding you, even though it's 125 degrees outside, these owners leave these windows open year round because there are screens, and the ocean breezes from the private beach access point is incredible. Look how tiny Steven looks in this huge kitchen.
Maybe I'm just a small guy.
As we were sitting there doing that podcast, I couldn't stop thinking about how diminutive I looked next to how tall you looked. It made me feel good. I felt like a little petunia. Goodbye. Oh, I have your phone. Okay, this is the backyard. I won't show you the whole house, because if you want to see the whole house, you gotta schedule a private showing with me. Look how gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. A lot of Bali influences in this house. There are 2 porches. There's just stunning trees throughout. You have beautiful bamboo. Beautiful brand new pool that's just been resurfaced. Brand new roof in 2016. This patio. It's an open air patio. To the garage. I'm gonna be closing up the house. So thank you guys for watching and have an incredible glory. Oh wait, let me show you the front of the house. Hold on. Before we end. Because I feel like I never show the front. And the front is like probably the prettiest part about this entire home. Let me just show them the front. As I walk you out of this stunning abode. Look at the wood on the ceiling. They did the Chicago brick driveway. Oh, look how gorgeous and stunning it is. Look at that. Oh my God. How could you even ask for a better home? Look at Steven. He looks like he's made for that foyer or patio. I really can't figure out what it's called when it's like a covered area in front of the house. One day I will. And you have A1A right there. You have a lot in between the house and A1A. That's the one that I sold for 1.3, a little baby guy. And that's a new construction home behind me. And there you go. There you have it. The evolution of confidence. So long. Peace.